And we can call to order and then we'll start with Terrence then, who's gonna be talking about farm labor, housing and such. Okay,
Let's go ahead and close the doors.
So we have Sarah. Sarah's on Zoom and Bob's on Zoom.
I'm gonna do it on this side, Dave. These legs of these chairs are right. in the wrong
Yeah.
place. You ready for me to go?
yeah,
Okay, no other business? All right. So I won't take up too much of this committee's time. I appreciate you allowing me to come. Just by way of background, as I was mentioning earlier to Samantha and Tim. I'm half owner of the apple orchard on Route 21, just south of Pear Street Extension. We bought that property in 2018 and began a process of prepping it for planting. It had had some old drainage tile in it, probably 70 years old, that was all broken and leaking up in giant wet spots all over the farm. So we had to deal with that first, replace that, put new drainage tile out throughout the farm. And then we started planting in 2020. We have a high density apple planting system. We have 7 varieties. We have Honeycrisp, Gala, Snapdragon, Ambrosia, Wild Twist, Evercrisp, and Fuji. We market wholesale to a single buyer out of Philadelphia named Hess Brother Farms. So we've been pretty excited about the growth we've seen in our farm. We've put in 50,000 trees in the last 4 years, this year finishing the last of our acreage. But as we've been growing, farm labor housing is a critical part for us. In the apple industry, as in many ag sectors, we cannot function without temporary seasonal labor. Particularly for apple growers, we have a very heavy period in the spring when we do hand thinning, and then in the fall when we do harvest. It is essentially impossible to harvest without migrant labor. You just cannot find local people that will go and pick 9 hours a day with a 40-pound picking bucket on their chest for 10 weeks. So it's very important for us. Can't get our crop to market, we can't survive. And for the beginning years, we have been able to eke by getting a small number of pickers out of Wayne County. There are labor companies that will help contract people. But these pickers, because they're seasonal and temporary, require housing. So what we've been able to do, because our farm hasn't been in full production, is find other farms up in Wayne County that maybe have an extra bed here, or bed there, where we can put people. But it has been a very time-intensive effort because it requires, my dad and I will split it, where I'll leave my house every morning at 5:30 to drive up there to pick them up because they don't have transportation, bring them down. They pick for the day. In the evening, he takes them back. And we do that 6 days a week for 10 weeks, and it gets oppressive. So we've been very excited at the possibility where we're at in our growth stage of being able to put in our own farm labor housing. Unfortunately, we've had some difficulties with the town's code enforcement office. I began this effort back in 2023 in August. I'm not unfamiliar with the town or with zoning law. My primary profession is I'm an attorney. I own a firm here in town, Ewing, Maui, and Robinson, and I've been a former member of the Zoning Board of Appeals. I was on that for, I don't know, 12 or 13 years, chaired it for probably 6 or 7. Land use is one of my primary areas of focus at my firm, so I'm very familiar with zoning regulations. Out of an abundance of caution, I contacted the town's code enforcement office because I want to be a good member of the town and just say, hey, this is my project, what I'm planning to do. I don't need anything from the town, but I just want to check with you. The only thing I needed is a lot line adjustment. But in terms of building the structure, it's protected under ag and markets law as farm operations. But yet I was told by the town's code enforcement office, no, you cannot build that, given several different reasons why, none of which were valid. Ultimately forcing me, after waiting many months to try to get resolution, to go to the state of New York. They have a procedure at the Department of Ag and Markets where any farmer can file for a review. If you feel that your town is not in compliance with ag and markets law, then you can file for review and they'll come out and review the town's code. And then issue a determination delineating the sections that are against state law and need to be stricken. This is something that happens fairly regularly. They publish all of their orders and decisions. They have already expressly reviewed this issue in other towns, farm labor housing, and have already ruled that a town cannot, for example, require special use permits for farm labor housing. I provided all that authority to the town's code enforcement office on multiple occasions, but was ignored. Only finally, when I went to the state and initiated review, which is a lengthy process to get started, taking a lot of time on my part that wasn't necessary or needed, did the Codes Enforcement Office finally change their course after direction from the town attorney. So what I'm hoping is that my experience can begin a discussion within the town about what I view as a somewhat anti-farming approach by the Code Enforcement Office. This should not have taken 6 months. I'm not somebody that's unfamiliar with these issues. I know the law, I cited the law, I gave it to them multiple times, and they refused to listen to me or to see anything other than what they wanted to do. In my opinion, that's not the way that the town's code enforcement office should work, especially when they know that they're dead to rights on this issue. It's just been intransigence, and it's been very frustrating for me and taken a lot of time away from my other businesses that I should not have to, spend fighting a fight that shouldn't even be an issue.
Oh,
Now, this has only been one of the issues I've had with the code enforcement office. In each of the last 2 years, they've also attempted to cite me for violations of the building code, even though my farm has no buildings on it. As I said, we replaced our drainage tiling, and drainage tiling that's been broken doesn't flow. Once replaced, it does. And we installed, there's one corner of our farm where we can't get it out due to slope to the county or to the ditch on the state route here. So we installed a very large dry well, 60 feet long, 5 feet wide, 6 feet deep, to deal with that runoff. It's going to go downhill regardless, but at least to pool some of it, slow it for the benefit of our neighbors. They were still upset that, downhill was a little bit wetter than it used to be. And so they brought a violation against me, the code enforcement office, for violating the plumbing sections of the building code. Now, farm drainage is regulated by DEC. I had to explain that to them again and again and again. And once again, not until I go to the state, to the DEC, and tell them that the town is attempting to enforce building code against a farm that has no structures, do they back off. So this has been a repeated approach that seems that the code enforcement office is unwilling to listen to any reason from any farm, at least in my experience, until they're forced to by the state of New York. So I'm quite frustrated with the approach. I'm hoping that this board, and David, you're a member of the town board, obviously, can deal with the code enforcement office and make them take a more reasonable approach to farming. Farming is one of the top 10 priorities in the town's comprehensive plan, and I've seen nothing but opposition from the code enforcement office to my farm. So I'd be happy to answer any questions or expound on anything, but that's why I'm here.
The town has come to the conclusion that a special use permit is not required for farm labor housing, for any of that. So that's part of the discussion we just had on the ordinance committee. So that obstacle will be removed.
Well, I'm glad that it's been acknowledged, David, but it's frustrating that it's taken me 6 months to get there when I gave them determinations from Ag and Markets already saying the exact issue.
I can't agree with you more. I totally agree.
So it's just frustrating.
Sorry, I'm late. I was
No problem.
cut this out.
So from a farm labor housing standpoint, what are you proposing?
What I'm proposing is that town just simply follow the law. Ag and Markets law says that farming operations are protected, that municipalities can enact their own regulations so long, and that the phraseology is that they don't impose an unreasonable restriction on farm operations. All these issues are already black and white. They've been litigated up to the Court of Appeals. I've given them the case decisions from the Court of Appeals that have said specifically with farm labor housing, that farm labor housing is an essential part of on-farm operations. Therefore, you can have no unreasonable restriction. And there's guidance documents from ag markets about what are reasonable restrictions. You can still have things like side setbacks, right? It has to be certain feet from your property line. You can still have minimum lot dimensions, right? You can't put a 2,000 square foot farm labor housing on a 3,000 square foot parcel, right? But you cannot regulate the use. You cannot tell a farm that they can't have it. Essentially, they've said all you can do is have dimensional requirements like side setbacks. And even with site plan approval, they say that has to be streamlined. It should just be, you know, a sketch plan submission approved on the way.
I think you'll see those revisions coming now.
Yeah.
Everything that you've just said, ordinance committee was looking at. Nadler was, you know, rewriting some of that. Kim, he said he just resent that to you, the revision to the farm labor housing, so that might be available. But, and I have he sent me a photocopy, so I'll just forward it to you as well, so. But I hear you. I know me saying I'm sorry for that doesn't do you any good. But I think we're moving in the direction of just the things that you're talking about, and thank you for your work, because much of the stuff that you sent at us is being utilized in looking at new farm labor housing, so.
Are you familiar with Rick Peterson and Laura Peterson at Peterson Farms in Seneca Castle?
I know the farm. I don't know the Peterson personally.
They have seasonal labor there and seasonal labor houses. So that's a little bit closer than going all
To Wayne County. I don't
you know, just in the interim, this is what I'm saying, is that might be available for you. They also have a packing house. And I think that, I don't know if they still have this, but they had a USDA kitchen there as well, so.
Well, Bob's in the throes of trying to work his way through this.
Yeah.
In Faba Farms, so as well.
Yeah, I wanted to also add to that just a little bit, if possible. Most of you, or some of you know, I think that I've kind of had the same problems as Terrence is describing. One thing that does disappoint me even more was that I presented a lot of the same stuff to the code enforcement and others at the town, and I was told they'd never seen it before. Even though they had received all the same stuff from Terrence previously, and they had told me they had never encountered any of this before. So that's even a little bit more disappointing than the whole situation. So I'm glad there's progress being made now, and that hopefully we can move it from not being a 1 or 2 time thing, that we actually change the ordinances or whatever needs to be done to make it permanent.
I can guarantee you that that's gonna happen.
Okay, thank you. And I have not seen anything in writing yet. Just talking to Chris Nadler is all I've had so far.
I hadn't gotten anything yet.
But in closing, if I could just make one suggestion, with any large institution like the town is, right, there's culture and leadership come into play. And I understand that the town is in somewhat of a leadership vacuum with the departure of the town manager. And so I understand and can appreciate that things are in flux and there's people in new positions and people have to learn and grow into those positions. But for me, the biggest disappointment has been the culture of intransigence, of being unwilling to listen to or consider evidence when presented from the highest authorities. And this belief that we're the code enforcement office, you do what we say, we're not going to listen to what you provide. And that's just been really disheartening, especially for somebody that has been involved with the code enforcement office for, like I said, the better part of 13 years on the zoning board, to see the way that the board has interacted with me, the way it's interacted with Bob based upon our discussions, and I can only assume with others. So that's been the most discouraging thing.
Do you have anything else?
Nope, that's it.
Well, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Really appreciate your perspective, and sounds like Dave's got a lot more information about how to.
I think good things are headed Bob's way and Terrence's way in terms of getting the ability to get that done, so. I think unfortunately, you're the only two people in ag that are asking for that in all the town that we know of, so. It makes it easier to handle,
Yeah,
but it will get handled.
I appreciate that. I appreciate the time letting me come visit the committee.
Sure.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you.
Thank you.
you.
Enjoy your evening.
I have to picture for now. Oh, nice to meet you. Good to meet you. Connection, right?
Yes. Yes, Daniel.
I mean, I appreciated him coming in, I'm still getting so used to this and finding out that we're at like an advising committee, like. Yes, we can advise this and that, but it doesn't we're not like a decision board.
Yeah, but
So-
he doesn't really understand that, and, you know, it doesn't really help him to go ahead and, you know, set us behind that veil.
But I think the town board looks to the committees for your input, like,
Okay.
I don't see many decisions that are made, if the ag committee says, do it X, that I don't think the town board chooses to do Y, you
Mhm.
know what I'm saying? So if you, like, when you act on these things, I mean, the town board values that
Mhm.
that decision and doesn't usually go against that, at least I don't see that. Whether it's parks or ag or whomever, I mean, I think that's why we have committees,
Mhm.
so that a more in-depth look is taken at things to pass on to the town board.
Did he ever show like his plan before? Because I don't recall like seeing like where he wants the housing to
He
be
doesn't have to.
or.
Well, he doesn't, and there was a period of time where we as the town thought that for farm labor housing, they needed a special use permit, so you had to apply for a special use permit, but that's totally not correct according to New York State law, so we have to follow the laws of New York State, so we can't make laws that supersede those laws, so.
Right.
So it's bubbled up, I mean, I'm not trying to make excuses for anybody,
Mhm.
but. I mean, there was, as Terrence pointed out, a time of transition, and sometimes with the, I mean, to be honest with the old town manager, some of this stuff never came to the town board. I mean, we never saw any, we only see what would be presented to us. Like, I never saw, first time I heard Terrence's name was when dealing with Bob and his farm labor housing that Terrence percolated up in
But
terms
he
of.
probably went forward with all of, you know, his activities and development activities without even contacting the town. Because he was following.
New York State
what
law,
He thought
right.
was
Well,
correct. New
and
York
he
State
knows the
He's
law, so
correct.
yeah, and he knows the law.
So as an action, what can we get as an action for us? Can we
Well, they,
set something to request from the committee to integrate?
There's a new farm labor housing ordinance that's on the books that Chris Nadler worked on, and I asked him to make sure it was sent to this committee before tonight, but he said he sent it, but Kim can't find it. I have it on my phone, but I mean, I can send it to
If you want to send it to me, I can bring it up.
okay.
Well, Sam, back to your comment, even though, yeah, we're an advisory committee, I do think it's important this stuff comes to our committee because we can go to other meetings or we can communicate, with, different committees or with the town board, so, I think that's very important, and I know I've made this point before, but these are the kind of things that will help, fixing these kind of issues is what's going to preserve farming in Canandaigua more than anything else, helping farms have a efficient, profitable business.
Yeah, like I appreciate like him because I didn't know about it, so like I appreciate him coming and sharing, like like his struggles and like the way that he sees his business going. Just out of curiosity, because I drive by there all the time, I'm curious where he's trying to put the housing. That's it.
So
We have no say in that. I mean, he can put it wherever he wants.
Yeah, he-
He's got, right, yeah.
Just by like not
Yeah,
like from like
where
not
it's gonna be, yeah,
outside. I'm
yeah.
like, where are you planning on putting this?
typically, temporary housing are, trailers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like, cause like how he was saying, cause like, there's that barn that I don't know, like there's a barn. And I don't think that's a part of it, and it's right next to, the Finger Lakes Equestrian Center that has the entire field up the hill. And then right in front of the orchard, there's 2 horse pastures and then the house. And then right behind that like behind the house, behind the pastures where the start of the orchard is. So as far as like, and that orchard goes from 21 to the pasture line for Finger Lakes Equestrian Center. So as far as like, I was just curious as to where he was trying to put like the trailers.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah,
So one important thing for when we get that document sent from Dave is to, using what we know, experiences from other places, make sure that what we know our needs get into that document so we don't have to revise it later.
Right,
I
so
guess that-
right now
that
it's
will be
being,
our job.
right now it's being revised. I just sent it to you, Kim.
Okay.
I might, let me just check something.
So basically, we would just like look at it, read it over, see what the best interest would be for,
Suggestions,
okay.
just to make sure that it applies so that it enhances the ability of farmers to go through without too much hassle.
Okay, so that way it doesn't take 6 months for
Correct.
a decision, okay.
And that we don't have to come back later, oh no, we didn't consider this, and this is gonna be an exception based on what was approved. Let's try to get all the cases
Mhm.
so that there is not exceptions later.
So this is like just like in preparation for like things to come, kind of,
It's in preparation for the town board to make it law so that it's just set
Okay.
from now on.
okay.
Make that bigger if anybody wants.
Did-
Is that-
Oh, you got it, yeah.
Is that what you would consider, Bob,
Yeah.
for what you had in mind of going through it?
yeah, I can't read that. Oh, that's better.
Yeah, I personally will need time to just sit down. and
Yeah,
chew it.
yeah.
This, all the legal language, it takes me
Yeah.
2 or 3 reads before I can make comments, but. If you can send it, we can definitely think of
I can do that.
things that have happened other places and try to.
Just pay it down a little bit further. Sure.
So the next ordinance committee meeting would be June 3rd. So if you can take a look at it and you could just email me stuff if you want revisions that you thought would be important, then we could incorporate those. It's not a law yet, the town board needs to act on it, so. So, but
Yeah.
we need to try to get it right.
Yeah.
It feels like we've gotten it kind of wrong. Or at least we seem to be, like Bob's had run-ins and Terrence's had run-ins. Nothing against the town. Everyone thinks they're doing the right thing, but we got to get to the right thing for agriculture. So let's make it right.
When would you need those comments by?
Maybe the last week of May sometime, when we set the agenda, sometime between the 27th and the 30th. And Nadler's,
By the 27th?
yeah, the 27th would be great. And then we can forward them on to Chris too.
What time is the town ordinance meeting?
The ordinance?
Ordinance is 9 o'clock on June 3rd,
In the
9
morning?
a.m. Yeah.
I have to be at work.
It is available with Zoom and stuff too.
Okay,
So if that makes a difference for anyone.
Band down some more.
Sure, I think that's it.
That's it, okay.
Yeah.
Looks like there's a page too.
Was there a second page or just one page?
But as Bob knows, most farm labor housing is somehow trailers or manufactured homes, and so that's probably what Terrence is talking about. I don't know specifically what his
It
is.
shouldn't matter, right?
Yeah, it shouldn't matter, right.
This should be
Right.
inclusive, because I have had some clients that build things that are designed to be easy to clean, easy to maintain.
Right.
And it's mortar and steel.
Right.
And that still should be applied.
Right,
Yeah.
it shouldn't matter at all, right?
Yeah.
I agree, but I know Bob's trying to put in a building, so a
Mhm.
stick-built building.
Is it just one page?
There should be another page. Did you-
I only have one. These are images, so I'll convert them over to
Mhm.
like a Word document or
Yeah.
something. And,
Okay.
It's pictures.
and that way you can make notes on it and stuff.
I can imagine, though, that this is going to be a topic of discussion within the community.
Shouldn't be hot at all in my mind, you know what I mean?
it
Right,
shouldn't, but it will be.
you might be right. There's not a tremendous demand. Like I said, there's Terrence and Bob right now.
Yeah, it's possible it could almost never come up again.
Right.
Okay, that's great.
We're hoping that that's not the case. 'cause
Well,
we
yeah,
want more
we
farmers
want
to live
agriculture
out
to
there.
grow, but I'm, yes. Well, Bob, I mean, Terrence was a surprise. I mean, I didn't even think about that. I didn't realize he was as big as he is in terms of. what
Yeah,
he
I was
does.
surprised the first time that I heard from him as well. I didn't even really know what they were doing over there.
Yeah, I didn't either.
You mean I can't buy apples from
Maybe he puts a little stand out by the road or something.
him?
Sounds like he's got a good market.
Yeah, okay.
There's
Hold on.
a page.
All right, Tim, you're
You
on
get the second
speaker.
page? Yep.
Work on it.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, Tim.
All
What did I miss?
Good discussion on housing.
Kind of at a little disadvantage because I can't see the screen, but I'll listen as best I can.
We'll get you a copy of it though to take a look at. There's a period of time that we can, that your input from the committee would be probably very useful to the ordinance committee and then on to the town board.
Alrighty.
Yeah, so we had Terrence Robinson come in and discuss how he wants to add some housing to his apple orchard here in Alpha 21, and how he was just sharing how the difficulties that he's been going through, and there's what is this? What is
That ordinance committee.
the ordinance committee has something that they're putting together, they would like us to review and just add notes to and such.
Okay.
So that is what we're discussing that right now, and we're gonna be getting emailed copies of it, so that way we can like take notes on it and such. And we need it back by the 30th,
27th.
27.
Yeah.
Okay.
Basically, the whole point is to just make it easier for the farmer who wants the ag housing, right?
Farm labor housing, yeah,
Farm
yeah.
labor housing,
Yeah, we have
And be
two,
consistent with New York law.
yeah.
we have two examples of people who are trying to put in farm labor housing, both of which we said apparently we've made it pretty difficult for them. So we'd like to make that process up front, remove all the barriers and be able for them to get their farm labor housing in.
All right.
Very good. Should we move to some of the?
The referrals that we have to get.
I can at least pull up that picture that you sent me, Samantha, there from the screenshot of the email.
Mhm.
So I can follow along with that a little bit.
Okay, your first, Sarah, you still on?
Yeah, I am.
We're to the referrals now. Did you want to share anything about the different referrals?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I can't really see it on my phone, so if you just tell me which project it is, I can give a little summary.
This one is Middle Cheshire.
Okay, new single family home where the guy built the golf course.
I believe so.
I think-
It's still open. Yes. this is
Okay,
the one, yes.
Do you guys find that incredibly
It is.
loud?
It is loud.
Can you turn that down, Kim? I thought maybe it was on that thing. It feels like this thing ought to be able to do it.
There, she got it.
Okay.
Sarah, say something, please.
how's the volume now?
Much better.
Okay, good. Yeah, the one on Middle Cheshire Road, there's a property, that's, I can't remember how big it is, but it's quite large. The property owner's proposing to build a single family home quite far back from the road. He has a couple holes of golf, I guess, for lack of a better description, that he built up there. Some golf pro did it. And it's, I guess, up the hill. So he's planning just to build a single family home up there. That's all he's proposing right now. To my knowledge, there's no farming on the property.
There's not. I know where it is.
Yeah.
And the reason they came for us is adjacent to farming.
Can we see it on Encore? Or,
Yeah, it would have met one of the triggers. It's either adjacent to, within 500 feet, or the property itself could possibly be still in an ag district. Even though it's not farmed, we get that all the time. I can't remember.
I'm trying to think. I don't know if the 1 acre across the street, that used to be a hay field. There used to be round bales there, so I wonder if that's maybe,
Yeah, it might be.
'cause that would be within 500 feet with it being right across the street. And I
Mhm.
don't know if, cause there's also that horse farm. And I don't know if that has to do anything. It's also kind of near the, where the farm stand is by Crosswinds. In that general area.
It does look farmed on the back.
The back certainly looks farmed.
Yeah,
I can zoom in if you want.
is that another house right there in the middle, that little?
Yeah.
Little bump out.
Yeah, that is a house.
But it's not part of his property?
Nope.
No.
Yeah, there's,
And the golf course hole that he did is kind of near where the mouse is.
So that's where you want the house?
you're sure he doesn't want to build an apple orchard?
Share some farm labor housing.
So he's gonna build the house up in the,
yeah, right where it looks farmed, right?
yeah, right in here.
Okay.
So he wants the driveway out of the current house, or next to the house that is currently there.
The driveway.
There is already a driveway there.
So what is that other,
That other house,
the other thing that goes straight to the other house? Is that just water line?
It might be, I can.
Alright, that's irrelevant, that's not for us.
Okay, it's utilities. So how many acres is that?
What do you think? 29.6.
Okay, and what type of soil is there?
And this is one of those cases that single lot, single family, everything within his rights, so there's nothing we can do, but it does look like it's loss of agricultural land, just in the pure sense of the examination.
The question is why are we getting it? Why is it coming across our?
Well, it does look
Adjacent, I
like,
think.
Yeah.
it does look like the neighbor just to the north has fields that are being farmed. How do they access them? I don't know, but they look farmed in here.
This doesn't, so it's a.
With access.
Kim, if you want, you can turn on the ag district layer just to see how close it is.
Okay.
If you guys want to see that.
And there seems to be a cross.
Okay.
This is.
Oh,
the
okay.
next-
Too,
Okay,
and this is
Honey
the
Oil.
field. that
Honey
he's
Oil wall.
using to build right
that's
there.
pretty good. soil.
Okay.
Hey, Samantha,
But only
Yeah.
4 acres of
I
it.
just had an idea.
Mhm.
Perhaps if I
11.
have
12
FaceTime
acres.
through your phone, maybe you could point me in the direction of the screen.
I'm, it's all good.
Hold on, Timmy, I can do
Yeah.
something else. You'll just have to accept
it
it. I'm gonna
Any
hang
of,
up.
is any
All
of
right.
it of significance? What exactly is the term that I'm looking for? You remember? New York
prime-
State.
Prime soils.
Thank you.
Soil.
Yeah, thank you.
It is not within our. Where's our district?
Is it under environmental information?
Yeah. Yeah.
Adjacent.
There's your cross the road, does that qualify?
Yep. It's within 500 feet of an agricultural district, so that would trigger.
So those 2 parcels for sure. How about those parcels that look like they're farmed or not?
Yeah, and they're
Not,
not.
something important to remember about the ag district is not every farm is in it. They have to ask.
Right.
And not every parcel in an ag district is currently being farmed. They have to manually be removed.
I make the motion to say that even though it's fully within the right, it represents the loss of potential agricultural lands. And I will use the word potential because it's not being used currently as agricultural land.
Second that.
So, all in favor then?
And
I,
Bob, are you still with us?
Bob, are you there?
Tim?
Yeah, I voted.
trying to get Timmy to accept my things.
The next one is Allen Road.
Where's Allen?
I haven't looked at that one too much because I think we bumped that one to the next PRC, didn't we?
We did, I still scheduled them because it was minimal stuff that they were going to submit, so. You
I think
wanna,
it's just a house.
it looks like there is a shed in there already, and then everything else is farmed.
this is a subdivision and construction of single family home in the AR1.
So if they are postponing this one, do we have to vote now or do we,
You can, I mean, since we already referred it to you, I guess we probably wouldn't refer it again after we review it next Monday, because next Monday is our next PRC meeting. Or actually, that's right, we're not reviewing it next Monday because they didn't provide us with what they were supposed to. But, I mean, I doubt your opinions would change, on the project itself.
it depends where they put it within that property, because there is an area where there is already a shed and some wasted land, and then there is a bunch of farmland. So that's the address. That seems
Kim, do you want to pull that one up on Encore?
Working on
and
it.
all of this looks farmed, and the whole front looks farmed.
So this is by my parents' farm. Then. Yeah,
Mhm.
and that's, okay.
Yeah, that's your parents' farm,
So,
4450.
Timmy, 4581 Allen Road, that's what we're looking at right now.
Alrighty, what's the proposal?
So
That's what we're looking into. Where are they proposing? It's a single family home
all of that, that's what my dad farms,
on the front.
yeah.
Try again.
Is there a parcel of farmland right there that was?
It's what dad does.
Wait a
So
minute,
he
what?
also farms this part.
Doesn't Dad farm out that little thing, the corner of Allen and Emerson?
We farmed that triangle field.
Is that?
The
Looks
triangle
kinda like
here.
Oh, okay. So that,
No,
never mind.
This is Allen and End Road.
Is that Pritchard's?
Gonna say, the only farmland I know there, the owners on Allen Road would be, Pritchard owns.
Oh, is it that
yeah,
one or is it the one
some
underneath?
land there.
My phone
think
brought
it's
it
the
up.
one
as
in
being
yellow,
One
I think.
underneath.
I'm pretty sure Purdy's own,
That's the one. Oh, okay.
That matches the tax map.
they either own or rent another field there, that other field that borders Allen Road.
There is a house in there already. So are they looking for a variance?
It doesn't look like it's a
They're doing
farmland
it
development.
separate.
Creating a
Oh.
subdivision.
I
Okay.
think they rent it.
So I'm gonna say that in there. I make the motion that that one does not constitute the loss of valuable agricultural land that looks marshy and all forested.
Yeah.
I second that, yeah.
Okay, would like to vote.
All in favor?
I,
Aye. All opposed, sorry. Still getting used to this, a lot of things.
The next one is, County Road 16, Gerber Homes.
what was the address?
4472 County Road 16.
Does not look anywhere close to an area. District or Heartland.
I think it's gonna be within 500 feet, so that's right next to Jesus on County Road 16, right? I think Gerber bought up those.
Yeah, I think this is one, we call them the DeHollander projects. They've already built one or two of them. I think this is just the next one in line.
It's mostly trees, pretty steep slope.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice. And we can look a lot deeper into it, but
That's near.
that's Westlake Road is 16.
Mhm.
So the only thing close is all the way up here above the hill.
What's the exact roads?
4472 County Road 16.
Yeah, I know exactly where they're building, there isn't anything around.
But it's probably within 500 feet of.
Yeah,
So,
yep.
yeah,
On the back.
right, up the hill. The retreat house by,
The retreat house is farther up north.
I think their property
North of
comes
them.
right down to County Road 16 though, I
Okay,
think, yeah.
north of them. Yeah, so that doesn't.
Mm-mm. So I would do a motion to say that it does not affect ag land.
I'll second it.
All in favor,
Aye.
all opposed? Okay. On to the next one.
The next one is Purdy Road. It is the PUD. Sarah, you still with us?
Yeah. This is the PUD.
Right,
Okay. So this one is not really an application yet. It's still going through the motions before it goes to the town board. It's kind of in a concept stage. Planning board is scheduled to give them an advisory report next Tuesday. If the planning board does provide that report, then this goes back to the town board, and the town board will work with the applicant to agree upon how the PUD will be developed, on what they can and can't do. If they get past that phase, they eventually will come back for site plan approval. So you guys will see this probably multiple times. Wait, is that the PUD? Or is this the
Oh. The wrong thing.
Country Estates?
I'm sorry.
This is Country Estates.
Okay, forget everything I just said. That's for the PUD. The PUD is just north of here. It's a separate project. This is Canandaigua Country Estates. It's an existing manufactured home park on the corner of Brickyard and Purdy. The property owners have additional vacant land back behind the existing part of the neighborhood, and they are ready to look into getting approvals to expand. It'll be phased over multiple years, but they're looking to get the overall approvals of those phases now, and then come back for individual site plans for the individual phases as they're ready.
If it's right behind it, you mean straight south of it, or what do you-
Kind of southeast. They own the large parcel and they've only got part of it developed.
all of that looks farmed?
It probably is.
Let's look at it on Encore, so that we can all look at it.
Yeah.
Here's something. Part of it's there anyways.
There it is.
Yeah, so you can see they've got the existing park there on the northwest portion, and they're gonna expand into the rest of the parcel. Or they would like to. And obviously you guys are getting it because whether or not it's farmed, it's near all the Catalpa Acres farms and others as well.
Right north of Powerful Brook, so it's probably in all of the protected area.
Sir, do you know if the proposed Auburn Trail is on that? Going through that area?
The Auburn Trail, I mean, it's not finalized through there, but it will be coming down through the Geneco PUD project, which is just north of there. That was always the plan there. There's an easement, I think, for the water line, which was supposed to include the trail right on top of it. From there, potential pathways to get it down into the city include it kind of skirting around the outside of this parcel along Purdy and then down Brickyard Road. The town hired Fisher Associates to do a kind of like a review, like a study of where the Auburn Trail could go in the town. That was one of their ideas. One of their other ideas was if this property owner was willing to have the trail go around the back of this property to take it off the road. The last we knew the property owner was not interested in that, but the first time this came through the PRC meeting, I asked the applicant to see if the property owner would be willing to reconsider that because it would still be a nice alternative to take the trail off the road. But
Great.
but yeah, it's at least going to go by it, so it would be a benefit for the people who live there now and the ones who would move in the future.
For what us are concerned, I think that further development in there will represent the loss of agricultural land.
I second.
And I strongly, at least my recommendation would be to work with the owners to either protect some land, other places, or to provide additional benefits to the town if they are gonna develop.
So just to clarify, this is the parcel, the Purdy Road proposal?
Yes,
Yes,
So that's right next to 332, Canandaigua, Farmington Town Line Road.
It doesn't
And-
touch 32, but it's close to it.
do you know where that
Right.
trailer park is, Timmy?
Yep,
It's right behind, that field right behind it.
so
It's
what,
the same parcel. It's the same project. They're just expanding the existing mobile home park.
it does that butt right up to Janeco's barn.
yes, good.
Gotcha, right, really close to that Stella's Flower Place.
You're south of there. This is not the one, this is not the parcel that touches Canandaigua Farmington Town Line Road. This is south of there, on the other side of Purdy, south side of Purdy.
Okay.
How far is it to the Farmington, Canandaigua Town Line Road, or the Canandaigua Farmington? Town Line Road?
You can zoom out, yeah, it's not that far. See it right there? Purple.
Yeah. And there's a lot of pressure in that area to go ahead. And continue to push into this area. And fortunately, the development rights have been sold. Is that correct? The development rights have been sold for some of these farm parcels in the area?
Yeah, for some of them, Catalpa Acres has, I can't even remember how many acres they have protected, but they're right there. Brockle Banks, they have several parcels of theirs in that area that are protected. You know, you guys have them, the strikers, and on the other side of 332, there's more over there. There's Keith Purdy. They've got land up there all along the north end of the town. There's quite a bit that's protected. Obviously, this parcel is not. This has been owned by the manufactured home park owner for, gosh, I don't know how long they've owned it, from the beginning, I think. They had always planned to expand. It was just a very, very slow process. And I think this next section is also going to be very slow. As you can see in the plans, they're eventually going to fill up that parcel, but I don't anticipate that to be quick.
Timmy, I sent you a photo of it. Did you get it?
Yeah, whoa, that parcel?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, cause I was thinking it was up, dead west of Janeco's barn, cause I know there's some like scrub land and one small piece of a farmland that's just dead west of his barn there, Janeco's. And
Yeah, that's a different project.
Yeah, that's the
That's
PUD, isn't it, Sarah?
Yes.
project.
What is PUD?
Planned urban development.
Okay, thank you.
Planned unit development.
Sorry.
Cause I was gonna say that scrubland and that one old, or one small field that's west of his barn there, as much as I hate farmland being developed, if you're going to develop a piece of farmland, I'd much rather see it just west of his barn there in that parcel of land, as opposed to a piece of farmland of higher importance. Like, for example, the parcel we're talking about right here, the south of Purdy Road.
Yeah.
That to me is of higher importance of what I would love to have protected.
Yeah,
Versus just west of Janeco's barn. That's something I'd rather see developed as opposed to south of Purdy Road here, what we're looking at right here.
so I'll reiterate the motion that this does represent the loss of valuable agricultural land. And it will be a recommendation to request some, I don't know, purchase of other development rights in other agricultural areas if they were to keep developing.
I second the motion. I guess all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
The reason why I hesitated is that They already have development going on in here. And, you know, you're not gonna stop that process.
But could we like make a note that like if they do continue to at least have that trail to,
I don't think anything that we say.
That's one of the
regardless-
negotiations that the
Right.
town can do.
That'll come. And,
But-
and I think Fernando said it well, is if they wanted to give some other farmland
Yeah.
out to develop that, that's always a nice thing as well. I don't know what else they own.
Yeah, we're not forcing them, we're just saying,
Right.
can you give us
Yeah.
something
Right.
to protect other land because
Mhm.
we're losing this,
Right,
Yep, they don't have to.
right. It's about 26 or
depending on the
something.
zoning.
They've already got buildings on it, so, you know, they've complied with the zoning that's there right now. So they can do whatever they want.
Oh, and there was a variance before. And they have to keep applying for variances.
So this is an existing manufactured home park. It's all on the same parcel. They're proposing to expand it and it's allowed. That parcel is zoned for manufactured homes.
Yeah.
So they are allowed to do it. They have to go through site plan approval and they have to meet all the requirements of the town code for the manufactured home zoning. But as long as they do that, they certainly can do the type of project they're proposing.
Don't get me wrong, Fernando, I like your idea,
Mhm.
but the reality of the situation.
All we can do
what
is ask.
Sarah
Right.
just said.
All we can do is
Yeah,
ask.
okay,
Right.
okay.
Yeah, you certainly can ask, and I see nothing wrong with that. I don't think you're gonna have success with the request, but it doesn't hurt to ask.
If we don't ask, the answer is no.
Right,
Correct. Yep, absolutely.
All right.
one more? Demi, I'll send you a photo of this one too.
Seneca Point Road, Gilmore's.
So yeah, this project, it's vacant land. I think some of it is farmed. The property owners have owned it for a while. They would like to build a house. They're proposing to build down near the road. There's a farm access lane near their house. They're not planning to impact that. I can't remember if they told me that someone's farming this right now, but I believe they weren't going to encroach on the field very much. Sorry, this project started months ago, so it's been a long time coming, so I don't remember all the details.
That field probably has lake view.
Mhm.
It might.
Could we see it on Encore?
Sure. Oh, I think I'm the wrong one. It looks like the other one.
well, it's
You
Western.
said this is the Gilmore one, right, Kim?
Right.
Yeah. I think
Yes.
it's just a-
Yeah. Just double checking I was talking about the right one.
Lots of files.
And the map you see does not show the whole parcel.
Like Kim, I'm glad you know what you're doing.
The Encore.
There's definitely a lot of clicking and a lot of moving work to do.
Yep, keep me very busy tonight.
A lot of movement within.
Would you go back out a little bit?
Sure.
All right, there you go, Timmy, it's on its way.
Where's the lake?
Is that right?
Maybe not, because the trees are in the way.
Yeah, that might.
All right, I see this.
But it starts getting steep at that area.
Okay.
What against
Would you
the
put
the
contour
proposal
in?
here?
The elevation.
Oh, they wanna build a house,
Elevation?
Yes,
I want to build a house.
yeah.
Okay, so how much of it would they be taking out there? how many acres for the house.
Those are your ag districts.
I think it might be under an acre. I mean, obviously the house won't take up the whole acre. They're building pretty close to the road.
Here's your slopes.
Look at that. Awesome.
That's a nice field. I mean, that looks pretty flat.
Yeah.
And then it comes down, but
Are those all gorges? No.
They could be.
There's like a big like creek that goes down that way that
Yeah.
goes to the lake.
There's a blue line right here.
Right there. Yeah.
Any waterfalls?
I think so, just like small little ones are like down by like Seneca Point Road.
Sweet. And why is this in front of us?
because it's been farmed and they wanna put.
Ag.
It's ag district.
Well, it's, yeah, did you see when she turned on the layer, it's actually in an ag district?
Right.
Or yeah, the parcel falls in the district.
So their impact is literally 1 acre out of that plot. Is what you're saying.
I don't know what the limits of disturbance are. Usually these home projects fall under an acre, because if it's over acre, they have to get additional permits for disturbance. But it's a house and garage. Kim, if you pull up the map, they can see kind of, the map doesn't show the whole parcel, it only shows the little part by the road where they're planning to build. So I can at least tell you they're not gonna build right in the middle of the field.
I guess we can make the motion that this does not represent a major loss of agricultural land.
I'd second that. Or we could say it's a minor impact on it.
Or we can say, yeah,
Mhm.
minor impact on agricultural land.
Timmy, did you get what I sent you?
I see the second picture. How much space again will this take up?
Like an acre.
An acres. So the whole rest of the field will still remain as farmland.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah, I can understand that then, you know.
Perhaps. I
It,
mean, they do own it. They can change their mind in the future and not farm it, not lease it, whatever. I don't know the facts of that. I'm just saying that the house is being built close to the road.
This project per se does not change the use of the rest of the land.
okay. And if they're building the house close to the road, that to me, I can appreciate that as opposed to them, you know, sticking it out way in the middle of the field and becoming an obstacle for the farmer in the middle. So I could say that, you know, if they're gonna take up an acre, at least the acre is in it looks like in a part of the field that can be easily manageable.
And there is plenty of access to that field.
Mhm.
There's
Yeah,
a lot of
yeah.
road access.
You still have good
Yeah,
access.
Sarah's,
the property owner told us there's an existing driveway that's used by whoever's farming it. I want to say he might have said the Wegmans. And he's not impacting that. He's building his own driveway.
All right. All in favor?
I
Aye. All opposed? Okay.
You got one left. There's a lot of stuff.
Oh, there's one.
It was a
Very
big day
busy.
today.
It's
Very
spring.
busy PRC.
It's spring.
This is 5300 North Street. The Potters.
It's a very developed area.
Yeah, so this one's probably getting referred to you for proximity to an ag district. It's kind of tucked in behind Uptown Auto on North Street. They're expanding an existing building off to the back. And that's it.
No, that makes it pretty easy.
That's zoned industrial, right?
I believe so, yes.
I don't want to make all the motions.
No,
There's,
so,
there's
like,
no impact on
there's not-
ag land.
No.
I haven't been that way long, so. Yeah,
It's right in front of the Y.
You better go there in a hurry. They're gonna shut that road down for a year.
Which one?
North Bloomfield Road, yeah.
wait. This is, I thought this was on,
This
Oh, this
the
is-
North.
okay.
Street,
North Street, right,
But it's right nearby. then.
right.
It's around the corner.
Uptown Auto is right there, you know, on the right if you're headed west. That's correct, isn't it?
no,
It's in that group.
Yeah,
Isn't that
yeah,
group?
it is. It's,
Yeah,
I used to think they were all the same parcel, but they're not. It's right, it's kind of behind and next to it. Chuck Potter owns it.
is that the one with the classic cars out front?
That's
that's
Uptown, yeah.
Uptown Auto.
Okay, now I got,
Yeah,
yeah, that,
it's right next to it and kind of back behind the other building.
Before you get to Marine Blue,
Yeah,
okay, now I'm oriented.
yeah.
Alright,
the old railroad line kind of goes off diagonally back behind it.
okay, so I'll make a. It does not affect ag lands.
Yeah, second.
I'll 30.
Okay. All opposed, or all in favor,
Aye.
Aye.
all opposed.
Right. That was your last of the referrals.
Mhm.
I have to hop off, you guys. I'm sorry.
Thanks for joining, sir.
Thank you for
Thank you, Sarah.
joining.
All right, you're welcome. We'll talk to you guys later.
Thanks.
See you,
Bye.
Sarah.
Sorry.
Alright, so the last meeting we had, we were talking about ways to like hand out stuff at the parade, right? I kinda had like an idea. So I use like Canva. Has anyone heard of Canva before?
What is it?
Canva. It's a free website that you can go on. You could design like brochures, posters, flyers, everything. I think weren't they discussing about having a variety of different like tractors from oldest to newest?
Okay.
I think, did that come up last?
I mean, some of the ideas came from, yeah, the different tractors that you can see in the road and what do they do, a little explanation of the big wheelers that just, why are they different than others, just to illustrate community.
So I was thinking like maybe picking certain things, like picking, for example, like Tim has the M, so like do a thing all about the M, or do a thing all about like spray rigs and just like everything that like people would see, and just having that brochure, so like, cause to me, do you know if you're pulling with the M again this year?
I'm planning to be in the parade with the M. I won't be pulling a float to my knowledge.
So
But
like,
the M is scheduled to be there.
are we just going to do what we did in like years past, where we would walk with the town of Canandaigua? Cause perhaps maybe we can like pass out some brochures and such.
Well, apparently the town is not gonna be in the parade this year.
Are you sure of that?
Yeah, so I've been, remember Dennis Brewer was, he stopped by one of these meetings and mentioned some things about the 4th of July parade. And I've been in communication with him. The town is not doing a float this year. Apparently it's a little too much work for him to do it every year. So
Tim's
they
correct.
Dennis was wondering, instead of the town doing a float, if I could fill the gap with not only my M, like I have in the parade, in a usual 4th of July parade, I have the M there. But in addition, this year, have a couple other tractors there from my antique tractor club to join me, to kind of fill the gap that the town is gonna have this year.
And regardless if the town is in there or not, we can still create things that can be handed out, whether at the parade or other places. The whole purpose of this is just the same concept of, if you're always thinking of a yellow car, you're gonna find more yellow cars.
Mhm.
If you're thinking of tractors and different types of tractors, are gonna be more aware on the road. So hopefully more awareness of sharing the road type
Okay.
discussion. So whether it's antiques or different modern tractors that they're gonna find, just make people aware of what they are, so they have them in mind and they're more.
Mhm. I had kind of like an idea, so like in part of it, just picking what to like, so each like brochure, like you would have like 5 different track pieces of equipment. Each one is different, each one talks about what the purpose of that is to do, and then one thing similarity between all of them is that drive safe, be aware sign that you see everywhere.
It's great.
And the beauty of that is that it can be reusable, right? If we make
Right.
brochures that can be handed out, then they can be made posters and we can just set them up in the fair on the day that they give us chance.
Mhm.
So we don't have to be manning those. Once we create those, we can reuse those type of.
So the Parks Committee is gonna do a movie night at Outhouse on August 16th. Does the Ag Committee want to be involved with that as well? In terms of giving out information or doing things? Like similar to last year?
We did that last year, and it got moved indoors, I think. Is that correct?
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna have the opportunity to move it indoors this year.
Okay.
Cause they're trying to put the ice down early, so they wanna have ice, but it could get moved indoors. I mean, the negative to the movie night is if it rains, then of course,
It's canceled.
yeah, so it's, but. The,
August 16, so that's a while out.
yeah. But they've already set that down in their schedule, for that Friday night. They usually do it late enough in August that it gets dark early enough, but it doesn't get dark, too late, or get dark too late if you move it too far the other way, so. So yeah, I don't think you have to make a decision, but if somebody wants to, let's Parks know, or let me know, and I'll let Parks know that the committee wants to be involved, that'd be fine. I know they'd like you to be.
Well, if they'd like us to be, we should be. though.
Yeah, are we
Yeah.
gonna do what we did last year then?
Sure.
Okay. I will be, don't plan to go to Adirondacks that weekend, so I'll be here.
Well, you get
So
double
I-
duty this time.
So we're planning to have a booth again at the movie night.
Yeah, August
16th.
I could say last year. I mean, I suppose I'm glad I was there last year, but I don't think we really accomplished much with being there last year, because it seemed that all those people that were there, I mean, I barely had anybody look at our booth and come over in our direction. It seemed like during the whole entire event, nobody's really paying attention to us. They were just paying attention to all the other commotion and activity. So I'm kind of thinking if we really want to spread the word about the importance of, what we're doing as committee and whatnot, I think perhaps we should be at another event where we could kind of grab people's attention better. Not that it's a bad idea to be at the movie night, but I just feel like we weren't really paid attention to.
And in part was because we ended up going inside, so we were removed from the tractor, we were removed from where people were flowing, they had to physically move that way. But if it's outdoors, no rain, and we can be close to the things that attract people, we may have a different outcome. I don't think that one low attendance event should put us away from the goal of just keep making everybody aware that agriculture is a big deal for us and
Yeah.
they have to be conscious of what agricultural creates and be,
I think you gotta try a couple of times before you
Yeah.
can actually say something that hard and fast. My question to the town though is there money for a tent?
Well, I have a 10 by 10 tent that
Oh,
we could
do you?
use, that ag committee could certainly use.
I thought I had one last year. It hadn't been used in a while and I pulled it out and all of the wax was just falling off of it, so I had to throw it. in.
Well, this is one of those pop-up ones that you put up in
That's
10
work.
seconds.
Can we-
10 It's a
can we
10 by
use your
10.
tent?
Yeah, yeah,
All right.
sure.
Great.
So be out of the rain if it rains.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's food trucks there that will be right there too. So if you set up that, as you say, right next to the food truck, you have a captive audience. It's gonna scan.
location.
Exactly, exactly. So I think you could work it that way a little
Maybe
bit.
we should put up some balloons, make some balloons that say Town of Canandaigua Ag Committee. Or definitely have a banner.
Mhm.
There should be a
Yeah, a
banner.
banner, something promotional.
I'm not joking.
No, yeah.
Joking.
Even like, do we even have any like promotional things to just like let the town people know that, hey, we're here and we exist, other than what's on the website?
So I don't know if there a budget for that committee.
Well, there's also the sign at Outhouse.
The electronic sign, you control that, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay,
The digital sign.
yeah.
Could we program it like a week in advance? Come visit the Ag Committee at.
It will be programmed for
Limited
the,
text.
yeah.
but So you gotta think about what you would want, like in 3 very short lines.
Ag
so movie
Committee.
night will be on that too. So
Yeah.
that, if it flash movie night, then visit the ag booth, you could do something like that for
Yep.
sure.
Yeah.
But I don't
The
think it's a
ag
bad idea to have a
committee.
banner at
Yeah.
the tent that says,
Mhm.
Ag committee.
is there a budget for there must be a budget for the ag committee, yeah.
We have about $500.
Yeah, so we could-
So we can do something.
Yeah, I think that's a good spend on that. We can get you a little more money if that need be. I don't think you've spent $500 in a while, have you?
No,
Yeah,
and if I'm not, I can put a design together for the brochure and we can look at it next time and then see how much that would cost if we could get somebody local to print it. I think the town uses Quick Print. Okay,
They do also, like the development signs, they do more printing.
more printing, yeah.
okay.
So you have, they have. a
Some
print
options
there.
out there, yeah.
Maybe Terrence Robinson wants to contribute some apple cider. To get
Well,
out.
like, well, are we gonna try to do the same exact thing of like talking to local producers and having them come out as well? Like, are we trying to do that big
Yeah,
or,
sure, If they
okay,
wanna come out, they can definitely come out.
I think that maple syrup person was pretty happy with that.
Yeah.
They were
It's all
flocking to
the-
them, yeah. I was doing bees, and I had a lot of people come up to me,
okay,
so yeah.
alright.
Yeah, we can definitely do that.
So I will look at the list again and reach out to.
Get a few there and see if they're interested, yeah.
Okay.
But I think just to get the safety message out, it's a great opportunity,
The other thing is if the town, the transportation department here is still willing to make some of those metal signs, like the ones we put on of farm-friendly community,
Mhm.
depending on the designs that you use, if we can do a couple of them that are just awareness signs of the slow moving things, and we can have those ones for the multiple places we go and just have them up. And it always calls you more when you have a nice firm sign
Right.
versus just something
Yeah.
that the wind is taking all over.
Is there
And-
anything we can put on the countertop, like for people to go ahead and pick up and feel? I mean, remember the county fair that we went at, that your dad was involved in? They had a big pool full of corn or something like that, and then they had a bean plant and so on and so forth.
Kids love that, anything hands-on.
Yeah. So we could have a pool, a kiddie pool filled with corn. Something like that.
We can see where we are at that stage.
You guess how many kernels, or is that, yeah?
That's even better idea.
So I'll let them know the next time I see them that the ag committee is all in on movie night with something at 10 or something, and so my tent's available, and let's order a banner and
Yeah,
whoop it up,
yeah, let's do it.
yeah.
Yeah, we can work on some of these.
Yeah.
If you start and we can all
Okay,
chip in with some more ideas.
I will start doing something when I get home. Timmy, can you just send me like a list of farm equipment that you think that we should be paying more attention to? That way I can just start doing the brochures.
Sure.
Including implements. I think that's
Yeah.
also important when you see the implements on the road all folded up. It's,
You know what
Yeah.
you could do is you could take that and make it a puzzle, match the implement with the name. You know, put for a hay baler would be a A, and then it says hay baler A, B, C, D.
Mhm.
So the kids have to match it up with the.
And
with the
SMB signs. Not everybody knows what the purpose of an SMB sign is and the rules, the rules that you're supposed to abide by on the road when you encounter them. Well, a lot of people don't realize that if you are following a vehicle with an SMB sign, you need to match that vehicle's speed before you pass. A lot of people don't know that. And every now and then you'll see somebody with an SMB sign using them to mark the driveway. as a
Just thinking
stationary, stationary, marker. That's not how you use an SMB sign. That's actually a violation, I believe. But that's not something that's really enforced, so it's kind of comes down to education. Not everybody knows what an SMB sign is, what it means. So I suppose we ought to have that in our brochure.
again, the whole idea is to make multiple different brochures
Mhm.
so that there is variety and you can almost make it a contest of find all 10 different brochures and come get a candy once you collect it all and that deal.
That's a
Oh,
good
yeah.
idea, match it up.
Yeah, you can like
Yeah.
place the brochures at different booths and some like do a little scavenger hunt thing.
Scavenger hunt sounds interesting.
Kids love them.
They do.
And that's transferable to the fair.
Yeah.
You put brochures in different buildings of the fair.
Yeah,
And you said, as you find, we just put the logo of the town of Canandaigua at the top and find the 10,
Find
you
it.
get something.
return.
What do they win if they get them all?
Candy.
filled up?
And it doesn't
How
matter.
about
A kernel of corn.
You get a raffle entry.
Yeah.
So they're gonna pave the fair, all those walkways are in such bad shape. They're gonna pave the fair, whatever they are, the authority got money from the state.
Nice.
So the town's gonna help pave
As
it,
long as they do the entrance.
yeah.
Every time you turn around with the trailers,
I don't know if they're gonna do that, that's was my question,
Oh.
what are they gonna pave, but it sounds like it's such in bad shape internally.
Mhm.
That you're still gonna park on grass and you can certainly send that recommendation on to Jim Fletcher, he's gonna be involved in helping to do that, so it's a real win, I mean, they got money and it's gonna be nice there now, yeah.
yeah, that I have tried to go in through so many different areas, not
Yeah.
to hit the trailer all over and
Yeah.
you cannot. I mean, you're gonna hit a pothole no
Yeah.
matter what.
So hopefully some of that will
Yeah.
be resolved, that's what Peggy was saying, what, if she didn't know if they're gonna pave, like behind the barns are in such bad shape as well, so yeah, I don't know that that'll happen though. I
Yeah.
think it's mostly where the public's gonna hit it.
This is just the very entrance, right? When you turn off the road, before you.
Oh,
hit
yeah.
The parking lot,
Yeah,
there are these huge
Yeah, you're
holes.
right,
although-
you're right.
And you're coming kind of from an angle, so you cannot just.
I'm sure
Find too
I'll
many
bet they'll
things.
correct that, you know,
That's-
yeah, cause
that's
they
ridiculous.
get their grant is for materials, so.
Right.
We're donating machines and manpower, so.
Nice. Very nice.
What next?
Well,
What's on the agenda? Have we completed the
So
agenda?
just
Sure.
out of
Yes.
curiosity, has anybody thought of other events we should be at in a similar fashion to what we're planning here with the movie night?
well, I think that if, again, what I like about what you propose on the different handouts is that it can be used anywhere. We can do it at the parade if you're gonna be there with the tractor, hand out some of those brochures. If we make the big signs, that can be used in the parade, it can be used at the fair, it can be used on movie nights. Anytime that someone invites us, it's easy for us to take what it's done if we don't have to recreate the wheel. So having this early on will allow us to be flexible in any event that we can take it.
And it's crazy, but if you wanna get the word out, you go to the transfer station, put a tent up and hand out stuff, hundreds of people will come by.
That's
It-
that's
it-
another
it-
thing that
It's
we-
amazing,
that
right,
we could
yeah,
do. one just.
You could park your M there away from everybody. It would draw
Outside of
people
it.
over and you give them the information that you want to get them to,
So-
so.
I can talk to Toddy, Timmy.
It'd be interesting.
Alright, cool.
We good.
Cool. I got stuff to do when I get home. Timmy, can you send me that list sooner than later, please? So that I
Sure,
can get on it.
sure.
Alright.
Oh, and then just another comment before I forget, so that we were looking at one parcel of land here on the referrals and proposals. They're on North Street.
Hmm.
So west, or excuse me, I should say, just north of the Y, of the new Y, that fallow piece of land there, that used to be farmed. Theoretically speaking, it could be farmed again, but
Are you talking almost across from the Civic Center?
yeah, civic
Yeah,
center.
the German Brothers bought that and they're
Right.
they're gonna build a facility. They theoretically want to build a facility to take all the maintenance off the lake. And they're gonna do it all there in a pool.
Interesting. So yeah, part of me feels like that's a good place for it because that particular field is not being actively farmed. But however, at the same time, I think to myself, well, it could be farmed again. So,
Once they build it.
I don't know what the use of
can't
land
go.
is in there, but if it's industrial, just like everything
It is,
else to the
but-
right, there is not much we can do.
Close to it. I'm not sure it's
Right.
industrial, but it's very close to being industrial.
It is, and it's right next to the airfield as well.
Right.
yeah,
We have
Alright.
some to dos.
Yep.
We accomplished what we had to accomplish.
Yes. I like it.
that Purdy Road project, that does startle me a bit. That, I mean, you know, progress can be a good thing, but however, it does need to come in the right balance because boy, it's very scary to think about how are we all going to feed the world if people keep building houses on productive farmland and strip malls.
As long as,
It all needs to come at the right balance.
as long as it doesn't come at the fire hose, drinking rate.
Hmm.
Just let it trickle, keep it moving slow.
It's gotta be manageable. Urban sprawl is a huge challenge if it's not at the right balance and at a manageable level.
I don't think we have urban sprawl yet. That's why I'm here. Okay,
Unless you look at, unless you look at historical maps of the last 50 years, it'll look like urban sprawl if you dug into that info.
you gotta go to Los Angeles, take a trip to New York City. We'll see what.
Well,
sprawl
that's a
really is.
huge urban area, that's.
Alright, so, I guess I'll make a motion to end. Okay, later, is that
Next meeting, June 13th.
next meeting, June 13th, yes. Alright, cool. Timmy, I'll see you tomorrow.
Alrighty.
4:30, please.
Thanks,
No